Hey guys, this is week 6. This is week 6. So, I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out of fingers, but originally I had recorded something yesterday about sin, and I was going to post it tonight when I had a free time, and today's been pretty hectic. But in the meantime, I this evening I took off of work and I planned on seeing the new movie Son of God that came out tonight, and so I did that. And uh, I feel like while watching this that the Lord gave me something else to say, and so I came home and I deleted yesterday's video blog, and I'm gonna redo it. And so I feel like this is more important than the sin thing that I did yesterday. Okay, so I'm watching Son of God, and mind you, it was Hollywooded up. They threw a lot of Hollywood in there. It wasn't 100% chronologically or biblically accurate according to my knowledge. I caught some things that were not the same in the Bible as it was in the movie. However, as an overall, uh, I, I thought it did a very good job showing that Jesus Christ is in fact the Son of God. And, the message was still there, I wouldn't base my whole salvation on that movie, but to me it really wasn't any different than the message translation of the Bible. So, I mean, they just made it into a movie. And, but there were some things that irked me, but one of the things that stood out was the scene where Jesus is telling Peter that he's going to deny him 3 times. Okay, before the rooster crows. They didn't say that in the movie, but biblically, every time they said that, I just kept thinking, before the rooster crows. So Jesus tells Peter he's going to deny him 3 times before the rooster crows. And I've seen the Passion. I've seen, a couple other, things that were similar, and with this scene in it, and Peter, he denies Christ 3 times, and upon the third one, typically, he gets a little teary eyed, he gets upset, he looks sad, but he gets really emotional in this one, and it stood out to me that he got emotional, he cried, he got upset, he left, he couldn't even stick around for the rest of this, he just got really upset, and it made me think about 2 things. First one is the verse in Matthew 10:33, where it says, whoever denies me before men, I will deny before my Father in heaven, or, and so, and then, I was thinking of that, and at one point in the show, they come back and they're talking to Peter, and Peter says, you know, I've denied him, and I can't ask for his forgiveness, and I cannot ask for his forgiveness. He was just totally beat up and just heartbroken about the fact that he denied Christ. And so I'm, I'm thinking about us everyday Christians, and, you know, just as a whole, there's a lot of people who call themselves Christians who aren't, who aren't living like Christ, right? And so I'm thinking about this, and thinking, how often do I personally deny Christ? And the first thing I think of is, well, I don't, people ask me if I believe. Well, yeah, of course I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I go to church. I'm a Christian, right? Basic, simple answer. And I don't think that anybody who truly goes to church, if asked if you believe in Jesus, I don't believe anybody would say no. I mean, even out of fear, even in the me, back when I was timid and didn't want to say things, I would say, yeah, well, I go to church, I believe in Jesus. I maybe sugarcoated it. I'm like, oh, I go sometimes, but I don't know anybody that specifically would say, no, I do not know him. You know, and so verbally, we're like, oh, I can't believe Peter denied. He walked with Christ, and he denied him 3 times, and it's just like, I feel like it's more than just verbal, denouncing Christ. I feel like we as a church, as a whole, the reason why the church is in the state that it is because we deny Christ. And this is how I'm looking at it. Anytime, people are not always going to come right up and say, do you believe in Jesus? But no, what they're going to do is they're going to come to you and they're going to tell you their problems, and they're going to come to you and ask you for your opinion, and it's just basic everyday life situations, and you're going to get opportunities to share Christ with them, or you're going to get opportunities to give them scripture, or to pray with them, or the Lord's going to put you in situations to give you opportunities. And I feel like every time we miss the opportunity, every time we don't, we just don't take it. I feel like it's just as bad as verbally saying I don't believe in Jesus. And I'll tell you what, this is why I'm saying this. If somebody comes up to me and says, I know that you like to eat food, and they can look at me and tell that, and they say, do you know a good restaurant? Well, I can name a bunch of restaurants that I appreciate. you know the same with people, and oh, we're looking for a doctor. Well, you should go to my doctor. you know it's the same with Christ. When people come to you with stuff, it's like, well, oh, well, you're hungry for something. Well, I know where you can be fed. I know where you can be healed. I just feel like anytime we miss those opportunities to share Christ, whether it's for salvation purposes, or just to share the love of Christ, anytime we miss those opportunities, we're denying him. We're denying him the opportunity to use us. It's kind of like we're saying, look, I believe this, but I don't have enough faith to walk in it. And so I feel like, you know as a whole, you know a lot of us, I know it's not me by myself. A lot of us drop the ball here, and I don't know if maybe it's in the workplace we're afraid. Maybe we're afraid of our peers. Maybe we're hanging out with people that we shouldn't be, and that's why we don't feel comfortable walking, like a Christian, living like Christ. But anybody who says, "Hey, I'm a Christian," and I know Christian is a label that is so broad and so vague. It's like, my great grandparents were Christians, and we just, because somebody in your family was a Christian, you're a Christian. Because you believe there is a God, you're a Christian. Because it's so vague that it's, a lot of people who say they're Christians don't look like Christ, and I just feel like that's what's giving the church a bad rap. That's what's giving Christians a bad rap, because Christians are no longer looking like Christ. The church as a whole, we're focusing on ourselves. We're focusing on what we can do and yet we might give God the glory, but it's like, look, how often do we deny Christ more, or do we give him the glory more? Do we give him the opportunity to work through us more, or do we miss opportunities in the grocery line? I mean, I feel like, I really do. I feel like it's more than a verbal denouncing. I feel like, your actions will speak louder than your words. And, you know, I feel like the church denies Christ too often by the way we live, Monday through Saturday. We might put on our suits and dress up and look nice on Sunday and know how to use the lingo and speak right, and just look like a Christian on a Sunday. But Monday through Saturday, we're more influenced by the world than we are by the Bible. You know, we most of us, you know, when somebody comes to us with a problem or a situation, you know, we might know a verse that goes along with it. 90% of people will give them their opinion over the Word of God. 90% of people, well, I'll pray for you later, and forget and never do it. When, those are the opportunities that we have, that the Lord has provided for us to use, for Him to use us so that He can get the glory later. So He can say, look, this is what my Father did. And, I just, I really feel like that's the biggest problem with the church as a whole, is it's the way we live our life, not just the way we speak, but the way we live our life. We deny God, we deny Christ in our actions, and when we deny Christ in our lives, then we're denying Christ the opportunity to work in our lives, and that's why He's not. That's why Christ isn't. You know, that's why Christians aren't making the world a better place. We're not changing the world. We're fitting in. We're looking just like the world, and I really feel like that. You know, maybe maybe you don't think, oh, well, I deny God on a regular basis. Maybe you don't think that, but I think about where you are on a regular basis, what you do on a regular basis, who you associate with, and how you act. And if they can't see Christ through you, I'm not talking about the occasional mess up, this occasional screw up, the slip up. Everybody sinned. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So I'm not talking about those people who one time saw you say a bad word or something. I'm saying 90% of the time, if they're not seeing Christ through you, you're denying Christ in your life. And we sit back all the time and we're like, why isn't God in this nation? Why isn't Christ in this nation? Why is the church the way that it is? Why aren't these things happening? And we wonder and we question, and we're like, why isn't Christ the focal point? Why isn't He the head? Well, we deny Christ in our lives Monday through Saturday, and then we expect Him on a Sunday to come up and fix everything, and it doesn't work that way. We have to quit denying Christ on a regular basis and let Him lead the way. He's going to give us opportunities, not so that we can get the glory, but so that He can get the glory. And I really feel like that's the major problem. Like, the biggest problem with the church is that we deny God. We do, and it's with our actions. It's so much more than verbal. It's so with our actions. We don't have faith in Him. When we're supposed to have faith, we're supposed to be carrying hope with us, and most of the time, Christians are more hopeless than the world is. When we don't allow God to work in our lives, we deny Him. And so I feel like that's what I needed to say today. for this week, and I just encourage you to just think about where you are, think about where you go, think about who you surround yourself with, and think about whether or not when they look at you, do they see you and all your problems? Do they see you and whoever you think you are, or do they see God through you? Do they see who you've been called to be? Are they seeing the love of Christ through you? And I really encourage you to just think about that today. And if the answer is yes, that is great. That is good. Keep thinking though, because I'm sure there's some place you can improve. We all can improve in some way. And if the answer is no, I just I just encourage you to just right now just get into prayer and not only realize where you need to fix, but talk to the Lord about how you need to fix, and start making those changes to let Him lead the pace and let Him be the life changer in your life, so that you can be part of changing lives for others. And I really feel like that's what I should have talked about this week. So, you know, quit denying Christ. I love you guys, and talk to you again next week. Bye.